there are things that I would like to say that I can't say, not because I can't say them, but because I don't want to implicate people who work in certain professions. Not because, okay, so I don't want to implicate them because I don't know the level of their strength, the ability for them, the ability that they have to be able to defend their own corner. So, for example, I know my strength, but all right, so if I'm in a situation and I need to go in to battle by myself, I will go in, and if I enter the battle, I expect to win. Right? That's me. And it's not that I'm being, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like I think, I can't find a way of saying this. All right, so it's not like I'm going in thinking I'm going to win because I say I'm going to win. It's because I understand human nature very well. All right, so whereas a lot of people live in fear, I don't. But at the same time, I'm not the kind of person who would say, oh, I'm big and strong and fearless and you should be as well, and you're gonna jump into the deep end with me. I don't do that. If I'm jumping into the deep end, I jump in by myself. But as I said, there are things that I would like to say that are very relevant, but I don't know other people's swimming ability, so I won't say. But instead, I'm going to sort of give a breakdown of my day briefly. And I mean, I'm not, all right, basically, so what I will say on Facebook, I won't put in a video. And what I will put in a video, I won't say on Facebook. I have my reasons. It's not because I'm trying to hide anything. It's just that some things are more appropriate when said and others are more appropriate when written. So, yeah, so my day pretty much led me to say that I need to have the mental capacity for 4 people, because sometimes I find myself in situations where I'm dealing with what I've got to deal with, and then I've got people coming at me from the left and to the right, some of them being deliberately sort of like trying to put blocks in front of you. They're deliberately trying to be difficult, or whether it be because they're seeking attention or something. But I'm trying to focus what I'm trying to focus on, and I'll come back to that in a second. And then I've got to be dealing with some idiot at the same time, or just somebody who just only able to focus on one thing, and it's kind of difficult when you're having to. I mean, I'm very impatient, but I'm a paradox. I'm very impatient, but at the same time, I'm very patient. But sometimes I just don't want to be patient. So it's a bit like coming back from the hospital this evening. I was speaking to my mother, and her concern was I haven't eaten yet all day, right? It's like coming up to 8:30, and I neglected to eat because I was so busy, and I only remembered that I hadn't eaten on the way to the hospital. So I've got all these things, all the different things that I need to do, and my mother's asking me about stuff that my sister's got here for cleaning, and I'm thinking that's not on my mind right now. That's not important. So I just came out and said it as I needed to say it rather than made it pretty. And then I came and sorted out something to eat eventually, and then called her back. But I think she had about an hour to reflect on what I said, because I think sometimes she forgets, not just her people, because people live in their own world, and sometimes they forget that at the moment I'm inhabiting several worlds. I'm not just living in my world. I'm not even living in my own flat. I'm living at my sister's place. And I think sometimes people just think that from their perspective, they're doing what they're doing, and that's their world consists of that. So I mean, today, for me, I was up on the road. Weather's changed, so it wasn't warm. I was on the road having to go back to my place to do some work that I could only do there. I had to prepare it and then bring it back here, continue working on that, and then off to the hospital. And I wasn't going to stay too late because my sister had surgery yesterday, and I just figured I'd just go in, show my face for half an hour, let her rest, and go home. But she asked me if I could bring some things for her when I'm coming back tomorrow. But I figured these are things that she would probably want earlier in the day. So I calculated the time, and I thought, okay, maybe I can get back here to her place and back to the hospital before 8. But then I thought, no, actually I can go to the there's a chemist nearby. So I thought, right, let me pop in there and see if they have the items that she requires, which they did. So I popped back to the hospital, whereupon remember, I wasn't going to stay long now, and when I got back, she vomited. So the nurses had to sort of change the bed, change her clothes and everything. So I stayed I stayed closer to 8 just to make sure she was okay, and then I came back home. But my intention was to come back and work, but the moment passed, so I decided, I mean, it turned really cold out there, so I need to use my sewing machine, but I don't know what, if the sound carries. In my flat it doesn't. I don't know if the sound carries. I don't want to disturb the neighbors, so I figure I'll go to bed early and then I'll start tomorrow. So I've all these different things I've got to do in order to, and the majority of them are not for me, because with work I've got all of that under control. But like I said, there are things that I need to get done. And the reason I'm trying to make sure that I've got everything clear is because I don't know when my sister's going to be discharged. And I will need to pick her up. And I will also need to organize for someone to help me to help bring her up the stairs, because she lives on the 4th floor of 4. So I will need to organize all of that. So, like when my mother's asking me about cleaning stuff, it's like that's the least of my considerations, because I've got to get all the work finished, all the deadlines cleared, and to make sure that I'm on hand to make sure my sister's okay and to look after her until such time as she gets back on her feet. So that's where I'm coming from. But prior to going to the hospital today, the one thing that was on my mind, I said there are things that I don't want to say. The one thing that was on my mind is, like, the last thing I want to be dealing with is people bothering me about coronavirus, right? So I'm not going to go into anything about my thoughts on that. But I have come to the conclusion, I mean, this is something that I know for a fact anyway, that all battles are spiritual. And I already said I had the run-in with the Jamaican nurse the last time I was there, and I just thought I'm not gonna be in the mood to be having any run-ins with anybody today. So if it be the case and anybody's gonna try and pull rank on me, I will simply say, okay, just give my regards to my sister and come home, and just literally do a U-turn and come home without even stopping or compromising with regards to seeing my sister. And some people would say, oh, that's a bit harsh, she's just had surgery. Why would you want to do that? And it's because, we surrender power to people by giving into their whims. Because like I said, sometimes people will come along and, for want of a better term, waste my time, or try to waste my time, just as a means of getting attention. And like I said, all battles are spiritual. Everything, the devil will try to find ways to pick at you, because the whole point is he's trying to dismantle you. But I've developed so much patience as a consequence of, I don't know, just having to live the life that I've got, really. So sometimes people, I guess when people are doing their foolishness, it comes at me sometimes in slow motion. So I see it, and it's like I can deflect it very easily. But then there are times when I just don't want to be patient, and I will just take the sledgehammer to it and just, you know, you can really make somebody feel bad in that moment, and make them go away and think. But it's not that I mean to make people feel bad or anything, but I just think sometimes people need to just stop and think about the other person. For example, a lot of my sister's friends and work colleagues have been messaging. I've not responded to anything, by the way. I've been messaging, saying, "Oh, sorry, you're not well. This, that, the other. Hope you feel better soon." And I think, you know, words, 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 and I just think it's not important for me to get back to them. And besides, for me to do that, it's going to take time, and time is something that is very precious at the moment, because I'm trying to make the 24 hours work as best as they can for me. And so I look at it from the perspective that what difference is it going to make if I get back to people and say, "Oh, she's, you know, in the hospital, she's had a surgery, she's okay, she whatever," because that's just going to lead to a conversation. So how is she, when is she coming out, and all of that. And that's just time and energy that I don't have to give to people right now, because I've got other things to do, such as organize myself so that I can have some time in excess for when she comes out. So it's just pretty much on this kind of level where you're just constantly fighting against people, over silly little things that are not relevant. So in terms of my mother, for example, I was thinking of the story in the Bible of Mary and Martha, where Martha rather, was so consumed with the housework and the preparation and all these things. And for me, these are trivialities. Housework will keep. All of these things can keep. But, I'm the only one who is allowed, I suppose, the designated visitor to the hospital. But then again, I'm probably the only one who would go. So I've got to make sure that I get everything that I need to get done to stick to my targets. If I've got deadlines, to deliver those deadlines. And as well, when I turn up at the hospital, I have to say, she's been in now, I think, 17 days. And I haven't visited 2 days, because I was dressed and ready to go yesterday, but I was told that not to come. I was literally about to head out the door. My mother called me to say the hospital contacted her to tell me not to come because she's having surgery. She was down having surgery or about to come out or something. And it's like, thanks a bunch, because had I known that I didn't need to visit yesterday, I could have organized my day in a different way, and I could have got a lot done. So it's just literally dealing with people who have no consideration, who don't sort of think in terms of how things might be going on at the other end for the person who's responsible for the one in hospital. So it's just pretty much that. So I guess the general message is that, we should stop thinking about the thing that's important to us, in small things that are important and maybe important to us, but then it's to sort of be bringing it into somebody else's domain when they've already got a lot on. And it's literally just to have some consideration. I'm not complaining. I can cope with things that get chucked at me because I'm assertive, like I said, and I can just chuck it back. I can tell people no. I don't hesitate to do that. So I very rarely have more than I can bear. But it's just the idea that sometimes people would, if I was a weak person, if I was not assertive, I would be overburdened, because the amount of stuff that people try to bring to me, that it's their load, and it's a load that they can carry. Today, when I went back to my place to pick up fabrics, I was talking to one of my friends who has no idea of what I do. And she said to me, I said, I told her what I was back at the flat to do. And I said that I was going to prepare all of this and then take it back with me. And she said, what, on the bus? And I said, yeah. I said, it's not a matter of it being heavy, because I'm stronger than I look, because I'm so used to carrying rolls of fabric and heavy things upstairs. by myself. So it's more about being able to carry the bulk. It's about whether I've got big enough bags to carry the bulk. It's not a problem. I can transport stuff, and it's just no big deal. You just learn to get on with things in life. But I think sometimes we don't challenge ourselves, and we become lazy, and then we kind of look to find other people who seem able to cope. My sister and I used to get this at church all the time. It's like, ask if they want something done, they come to us, right? And always, if you it's a case of, right, looking around and seeing, all right, who can I ask? That person over there is a capable person. I'll go and dump my responsibilities on them. And sometimes it can be a bit like that, but in the long run, it doesn't actually. I mean, I'm all right, Jack, right? But it's not actually helpful to the person who's trying to dump the responsibility, because the time will come, the time may come when there is nobody to help carry that load. So if you haven't learned to carry your own load, at what point in time are you going to learn? You don't really want to find yourself in a situation where you need to learn in that moment. You've got to, I mean, people, I mean, I'm jumping in and out here. People have said to me over the years, you're the hardest person on yourself. And I find it offensive that people should say something like that to me. And I would tell them, because it is up to me if I want to be hard on myself. You don't become stronger by taking the soft option. You have to push yourself if you want to become better, stronger, more efficient, and just be able to cope with life in general. But I find that a lot of the people who I have dealings with, when I say have dealings with, I mean people darken my door kind of thing, are people who I don't know, they don't make the effort to try and push themselves a bit more, to challenge themselves. And so it's very easy to come and try and dump on somebody else. So I think in my situation here, not that I'm complaining or anything, but every day is intense, right? Because every day is a hospital, apart from the one day when I was sick, that was Wednesday. And then Friday, because my sister was having surgery. But every day it is a full day. I don't have any easy days. Most days I'm trying to, even I will try to sneak a bit of it. Actually, I can't sneak any rest in. I only get rest at night. So like tomorrow morning, I'm gonna get up as early as soon as the sun is up. I'm gonna get up with the sun, because I've got to play catch up. There are things that I need to do. But it's just one of those things, I think there are just too many people who try to find the easy way, and the easy way is to find somebody who's already busy, like myself, and try to dump the responsibility on top of them. And I'm not even going to say it's not fair. I'm going to say you're not doing yourself any favors. So I am going to leave it there. I'm going to say pick sense out of nonsense, but I think I've said plenty. And I don't know, take from it what you will, but have a good night. See you later.